Hey, everybody, Madeleine here to look at the astrology for September of 2025. And boy, what a dramatic month ahead we have. Business will not be as usual as we have two eclipses. We have other transits too, but I think they're going to be dwarfed by these two big eclipses. We have Mercury moving into the sign of Virgo, which will really sharpen our minds. Will be in its exaltation in the sign of Mercury. And then we have Venus going out of Leo into the sign of Virgo, where it is more in debilitation. Well, I'll go into all 12 signs for these. And then we also have Mars moving into Scorpio. So, but I think those transits are not going to be as felt as loud as the eclipses are. We have the two eclipses. The first one is going to be in the sign of Pisces at 15 degrees 22 on the 7th of September. It is the exact same eclipse that we had on that day, same day, 2006. And then we have a second new moon lunar eclipse. The first one is a full moon solar eclipse. This is going to be a new moon solar, sorry, full moon lunar. This is new moon solar on the 21st of September in the sign of Virgo at 29 degrees. So I'm going to go into all the 12 signs for each of these transits, mostly focusing on the eclipses, of course. Now, let's go ahead and look at the first eclipse. I'm going to go ahead and share the chart. I'm outside by the lake enjoying a lovely day outside. I couldn't be inside. Now, this eclipse looks really nice. I don't know if the one in 2006 had the same blessings. I have to go back and look at it, but this promises to be quite a nice eclipse because Jupiter is ruling Pisces. And the North Node is right there, and Jupiter is trining the nodes. And this is like a very auspicious part of the sky. It's also a very spiritual part of the sky. Um, so when Jupiter is making such a favorable aspect to a lunation, it's basically showing us a higher elevated perspective because Jupiter wants to expand our life, wants us to expand our life into the direction of our Dharma, because when we walk our Dharma, we're serving humanity in the way that we were designed to serve humanity. So Jupiter is blessing this eclipse with clarity of purpose and a reinvigoration of faith in the path. And we're with the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo, we're clearing sort of our soul's debris, our mental debris that blocks us from our soul's knowing. And we're really following some sort of not such a clear path because the North Node and the sign of Pisces is also ruled by Neptune, which happens to be very close and also making a very positive aspect in this eclipse, which also blesses it. But this journey with the North Node in Pisces is aligning us with our true soul's essence and to walk a life where our soul's desire, where we're feeding and nurturing the soul, not the material. It is a big eclipse of releasing because the South Node being in Virgo and full moons are big revelations and show us what we need to let go of. So it can be really challenging sometimes. If it's a relationship that needs to be let go of, it can be very, very painful. But this month will be charged with intense energies and heightened emotions and sudden twists of fate and passions and power plays, because we do have Venus in Leo, so that kind of heightens the passionate energy of this month, of course. But the eclipse will so eclipses basically end things and bring things. Eclipses something out and invite something in new. Eclipses, you see, there's Jupiter in its exaltation, by the way, which is a really good blessing for this eclipse, which makes it extremely abundant. Honestly, the more you let go and flow during this eclipse, the less struggle, trust that it's going to take us somewhere really good. Because here is Jupiter making a beautiful angle to this eclipse. Look at that. It's trining the North Node in the moon. It's a full moon lunar eclipse with Jupiter trining it like a big light saying, this is your Dharma, this is the way to go, this is what you're made for, this will nurture your soul. Leave anything behind that isn't your authentic part of your authentic path and your authentic soul's purpose. So it can come with challenges, but these are really beautiful angles. So I'm going to say we're relieved to let these things go. We're relieved to end these chapters. We're relieved to release this noise in our life. So we're basically clearing a path that takes us in a direction that truly nourishes our soul more and puts us in our true dharmic destiny, because the two things coincide, of course. All right. So that is the first eclipse. I'm going to go into all 12 signs about that. And now let's look at how beautiful that kite goes to the eclipse. So here it is. We're at the tail of the eclipse. So basically, this is untangling that big knot because it's happening at the end degree point of Pisces, or shall we say, it's opposing Saturn at that end degree point, and it's even in the shape of a kite. And here we are with the kite on the material realm, because Virgo um, the Virgo Pisces axis is all about the spiritual versus the material, right? And the practical versus the impractical. So we're going to have this kite configuration blessing us as we let something major go that releases the kite, that releases us from our karmic entanglement. So this is like the final, shall we say, it wouldn't be final because we do have the South Node continuing in Virgo, but this being the eclipse there makes it a big release of something final because it's at 29 degrees. So it's really the end of something. So we're really wrapping an old pattern, an old cycle. Our day-to-day routines are going to completely change. Our health decisions or choices are going to change. We're going to make much more soulful aligned decisions that will improve our health. We're spiritually releasing ourselves from old paradigms and old thinkings and old thoughts, and we're changing them because we're at the end degree point and Saturn is there. So Saturn is telling us, look, we have to devote to something seriously. We have to put all our eggs in this basket and devote to it and treat it like it's a long-term thing, because we have to align with something here that Saturn wants us to align with, but at the same time, we have to release whatever's not a part of that. And we've cleared our karmic behaviors that are causing these patterns. And so, it's like we're untangling ourselves from that karmic knot in order to begin something new that really takes us a whole new cycle, a whole new 29-year cycle. So we're really headed in a new direction here, obviously very big. Now, Jupiter again is making, and again, a very positive aspect to this eclipse. So I think these eclipses are very abundant and very auspicious for everybody. So I'm excited to go through all the 12 signs. All right. I will see you there. All right. Hey, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising. These eclipses are happening in your first and in your seventh. This is a lot of attention coming onto you. All eyes are on you. You got a lot of planets coming into your first house. We're going to have Mercury there coming into your first house early in the month here. And that's going to sharpen your mind. You're going to be witty. You've got the sun in your first house. We had that new moon in your first house. So there's this fresh new version of you with that south node in your first house. You're really letting go of an old version of you. You're releasing a sort of old version of you that was preoccupied with things and busyness and noise in your life, and you're heading more to some sort of more feeling out your life, and you're wrapping up a major relationship karmic pattern because you have Saturn in retrograde in your seventh house, and Saturn rules your fifth house. So you've been clearing karma around codependency issues in relationships and connections and partnership agreements with that seventh house is basically anyone you sign a piece of paper with. But in your fifth house, you would have been getting into some sort of karmic friendships and relationships with people that are superficial, and you're making them more permanent. So you're clearing this cycle up. You're changing radically. Something about you is radically changing. An old version of you is dying, and a new version of you is being born. So let's talk about the first eclipse. And that is, let me get that opened up here. That is going to be a interesting time for you because it's going to reveal something big in your relationship house, something about a relationship or contract agreement. Now, these eclipses are in Pisces, so it can dissolve a relationship. It can show something in a relationship. Someone has been unfaithful to you or has stabbed you in the back, or some kind of a letdown can happen on an eclipse in your seventh, and you could end a relationship there. But it does leave you room for something more soul connected. Pisces wants you in your dharmic relationship, in your dharmic connections. You could be a musician and this is a like bandmates. It doesn't just have to be a romantic relationships. You could be in your true divine partnership and they are going through a big shift and change. And these eclipses are trying to align us because of that Saturn retrograde clearing our karma. 2025 is the year of aligning people with their divine partnerships because we're starting big new cycle, Saturn cycle in your eighth house, by the way, which is intimacy and joint soul resourcing. So you could be getting involved in a with this first eclipse in a new relationship, which later on builds into a very committed long-term relationship with Saturn there in retrograde. You've really cleared your karma. You're really seeing your part in it with Saturn in your seventh house. You're looking at yourself and what your repeat pattern is in relationships that's causing them to not work. And even if you're in your long-term committed relationship, you're looking at your repeat patterns and cycles that are occurring in that connection. So let's go ahead and pop up the chart here. So here is the first eclipse. Let's get to that on the 7th. Let's get to the 7th here. And then it's hitting in in your seventh house. So let's get Virgo on the ascendant here, wrong way. So there it is, this eclipse in your seventh house hitting at 1522 degrees, where you could have a shakeup in your relationship situations, but the universe is asking you to seek balance between independence and togetherness. So you've been working on not using relationships to fill your empty, because Pisces is that energy where you can sort of feel alone and empty. If you've been single, you've been alone and you're really clearing karmic cycles of being in relationships just to escape reality, your own self, you know. So that first eclipse is very highly blessed too, which is why I do think in leaning into a divine partnership, could meet them online, or social events. But this is a really positive angle. So whatever relationship goes away, remember it's not truly yours. Whatever leaves us on an eclipse is good. We want to let go, and whatever stays is truly ours. So perhaps there is someone coming from the past that is your true person is going to show up on this eclipse. So now let's look at the second eclipse. I've been really taking a long time on my other signs, and it's like I can't believe how much time I'm spending. I'm sort of um, chatting away and kind of losing myself, and I've got a lot to do today. Virgo energy. So the second eclipse is going to be in your first house. So that's going to be, let's get you into that first house there. Okay. So this is where you really release, and you've been doing this all since January anyway, because you had the South Node entering Virgo, where you're really releasing an aspect of yourself that doesn't really work for you anymore. It's a death and rebirth with an eclipse in the first house. First of all, you are going to this is a dramatic eclipse. So there are going to be heightened emotions and need for release, but you're going to be basically you're shedding an outdated version of yourself. And it's not really an ending, really, as you could see it as a total rebirth of who you are, a cosmic rebirth of yourself, but it's the more authentic version of you, which is going to align you with your authentic seventh house partnership. So you're going to be really bright and going and busy and active, making lots of plans with this eclipse, some sort of big new venture, most likely involving this partnership agreement, where you are probably signing a contract, a lot of detailed stuff, planning things, initiating this big cycle with a new version of yourself. It's like you have a whole new outfit on and you're stepping out into the world and showing this new version of yourself. And then there's a good chance you have someone coming with you, or you're starting some sort of partnership collaborations in some sort of soul contract adventure, or your dharmic path, is going to open up here. Being of high service, Virgos are very high service people. And you're going to be called to sort of be of assistance. People need the Virgo skills and gifts in these ventures because they take care of details and watch out for things and make sure no balls, or what's the word? Something's dropping between the cracks or anything like that. So, Basically, okay, yeah. So you do want to listen to your body. Your body, a first house eclipse can bring up health issues. And you do want to, Virgo again, can be old patterns, old habits, day-to-day things that we're doing that are not good for us. So you may have to quit something. You may have to quit gluten or drinking alcohol or, some version, and also maybe some sort of stress life, busy life thing that you do that really stresses you out and isn't really enabling you to have peaceful Zen time with your mate because you're shifting into a peaceful Zen state to sort of flow into a new destiny, into this new, shall we say, soul contract adventure. You're kind of sort of feeling your way through that project, through this thing you're going to do with your partnership on the other side. So this is a sort of spiritually identity cleansing, and you're removing old masks, showing up more vulnerable, showing up more real for your connections, and wanting people that you want to show up real for, so that you don't. With an eclipse in your seventh house, you could find out somebody isn't a real connection, and so then you start to show up more authentically and trust that that's going to bring you your right person. So you're basically focusing on improving yourself and becoming your true version of yourself, and looking within with that Saturn in retrograde, trying to shift some sort of pattern that you find yourself in repeat in relationships. Now, let's look at Venus and Mercury. Well, as I said, Mercury is going to move into your first house. Um, Oh, it's already there. Wow, it's 0 degrees today. So your mind is on fire. You're inspired. You got new ideas hitting that same spot on that new moon. Probably that new moon is reactivating for you whatever initiated for you there in that first house for you last month, end of last month. And then Venus is going to be in your seventh house of Leo. You could travel, romantic relationships. You could meet this person. That seventh house eclipse. You usually meet your true person on an eclipse. This is the same eclipse that happened in 2006, September 7th. So you meet your true divine partner, traveling, you fall in love, passion. So this is a nice month. It's bumpy, not easy to have an eclipse in your first and your seventh, because it's painful if you have to lose a relationship or let people go. But you are aligning more with your authentic counterparts, your true authentic, to your true authentic mate, your true person, and you're initiating these big new chapters that we all are initiating. But for you, they're happening in a eighth house, because that Saturn is going to move into your eighth house, and so there's some really long-term committed partnership opening up for you, where there's some, or friendship partnership agreement. Could be a business partnership where you're really merging your finances and pulling money together to really initiate some big new service-oriented venture that is going to bring you financial stability for the next 29 to 30 years. All right, have a wonderful month. Stay safe. I wouldn't try Virgo on the days of the eclipses if I were you. Virgo is third house movement, driving, short distance travel, so it is prone for accidents on these eclipses. All right. If you would like a personal reading, feel free to contact me. My email is below, or you can book on my soullevels.com website. But I also do a monthly email, which you are welcome. With the monthly email, I send out a astro report plus all these videos I send out. So if you would like to be on that list, email me and I will put you on there. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.